welcome to the newest installment of the Untitled Film Nerd Project. My name is Philip, and joining me as always is Teacher.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about Bliss. Before we get into it, spoiler warning now! If you want to avoid spoilers, skip ahead to the time code you see on the screen. This one should be interesting, so let's get into it.
Yeah, so what'd you think of this one?
This is one I needed to sit with for about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
When the movie first ended, I was left in a state of, not shock, but like, you know? Like, online, one of the reviews simply says, can't rate it. And I kind of get that. In fact, my notes for this recording changed drastically as I was taking in what I had just seen. At first, I was stuck in this weird limbo of indecision, not sure how I felt. But then that subsided, and I could digest, so to speak, what I had just seen. It's a slower build. I even almost DM'd you asking, are you sure this is a horror movie?
Yeah, I totally respect that.
Right? And I didn't want to look it up because I would have had to spoil like I did Little Monsters. But yeah, this one takes time, and then it fucking explodes.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't stop. It just keeps amping up more and more and more and more, all the way until the end.
Yeah.
This felt like Devil's Candy meets Contracted meets a Grindhouse movie on steroids. This is easily the most visceral and goddamn movie we've seen so far this month. I'll put it this way, and I will stand by this. This is the movie Rob Zombie wishes he could make.
Yeah.
This was interesting, unique, gross, and a very chaotic 80 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is a bit of a long-winded overall, but this movie had cojones. Giant fucking cojones, and I have to fucking respect that.
Yeah.
What about you? What about you?
This movie felt like, to me, Lovely Molly
Okay.
meets a Greg Araki movie. The way that it was shot and the lighting, or some of the shitty lighting, but I understand why it was shitty lighting. To the character Desi herself, I loved Desi.
Mm-hmm.
To exactly what you were talking about. Like, for a while, I was like, okay, when's something gonna happen? And then that snap happens.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
And it's like, holy shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, 100% with everything that you said. This thing was balls to the wall.
Yeah, it was.
Visceral.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So some stuff I did like. This movie was so erratic and intense that I'm just going to cherry pick out things that I like, that stuck out. You brought her up. Dora Madison as Desi owns this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Her portrayal was fucking amazing. Even on parts that I didn't care for, she was all in on this role. And I think she was very well cast and carried the movie on her back.
Yeah.
The entire film rested on the performance of Desi, and she delivered in spades. So just kudos to her. Like, wow. Just wow. A side note, I appreciated the epilepsy warning in the beginning. As someone who had it as a baby, I still don't like flashing lights, as you know. And I thought it was cool we got the heads up. That being said, they wasted no fucking time getting right to it.
Oh, yeah.
The beginning 20 minutes or so had this like mid-90s indie movie vibe. Like Spanking the Monkey or Doom Generation.
Yeah. Greg Araki.
I forgot yeah. Damn, we're on the same wavelength. I can safely say that I don't think I've ever seen anyone die quite the way that Clive did.
Mm-hmm.
That was shocking, and to go old school with it, that would have been my holy shit moment.
Yeah.
Which is saying something from Drugs, Tits, and Blood, the movie.
Uh-huh.
Desi blowing her brains out was very well shot. And most of the movie I thought was very well done. Visually, it was in your face and unapologetic, and I dug that. Even when the film went a bit overboard on the fluids, it still was shot and presented in a way that worked. So I gotta give props to writer-director Joe Begos. I'm not sure we were doing videos then, but he's graced our reviews before as the writer and director of Almost Human.
Yeah.
Which was his first movie. Mm-hmm. This one is his third. In the middle is something called The Mind's Eye. And I'm very interested in watching that now based on what he's shown us in the two movies that we've seen. Of the two movies I've seen, especially this one, if I were to describe him in one word, it would be ambitious. And I can absolutely respect that. A couple of cool things with the cast. Courtney's horse-hung boyfriend, Ronnie, is played by Reese Wakefield, who you might remember from the first Purge as the main antagonist. The drug dealer, Hadrian, who was played by Graham Skipper as Grace the Channel in Beyond the Gates and Carnage Park, and was also in Almost Human. And one final thing that I'm cherry picking that I liked. Much like with In the Tall Grass, where I expected one really tropey thing to happen and it didn't, on this one I wrote in my notes, that painting is going to be destroyed or ruined by the end. And I'm glad it wasn't, because by the time we got to the end, that painting was fucking dope. I wanted it. So those are things that stuck out to me. What about you?
To go along with what you were bringing up about the trope aspect, the entire movie, I kept on expecting the big reveal to be, you know, she's coked out of her mind and she's just been going around killing people. And I kept on waiting for it, and I kept on waiting for it, and then she pops.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, she was a reliable narrative. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That right there, because, you know, again, for someone that doesn't like spoilers, it doesn't bother me to go around in my head trying to plot out what's going to happen. And, you know, I've seen so many that it's super easy to do so.
Oh yeah.
And this movie definitely played on that expectation and surprised me, which, you know, it's kind of stupid to say, is completely surprising to me. But yeah, to go along with what also you were saying is, like, just bravo to all the actors except for one. But
same.
But yeah, and also to go along with what you're saying, that painting was dope as shit.
It was, yeah.
And I guess very much kudos to the art gallery woman, because she'll still have a piece to show and she lives. So,
yes, one of the few.
You already touched upon so much of what I already liked, but the biggest thing for me is giving me something I haven't seen before.
Yeah, because usually you can spot the ending miles away. I always joke that you think of every ending so that you get it right when it happens. But yeah, it's cool to finally have a movie that surprised even you.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, there were some things I thought could have been improved. The biggest one for me, some aspects of the plot and consequences being made more clear to the audience, if that makes sense. While I understood the inclusion of the drug, the Diablo, the Bliss, and many, many, many others that she was doing as well, I think it muddied the plot in a way that if you omitted the substances, it may have been more apparent on what was going on. Now, I can see that was probably the point. But I do wonder what the film would have felt like if it wasn't centered around this cocaine-heroin hybrid concoction called Diablo. For example, she said to Courtney that she felt like she was being possessed. That didn't come across to me as such. Like, if you take the nose candy out of it, the constant nose candy out of it, I think it would have come across better. Or the most glaring one, in my opinion, she says, "I'm craving blood." I never got that. I never once saw the significance of what happened in the bathroom with Courtney as anything other than she's on copious amounts of strong uppers and psychedelics. She's either imagining it or her friend is a murderer. Not once did I get her friend is a Hollywood vampire and just gave it to her from that scene. Also, where the fuck did all the bodies go? I think the movie could have done a much better job of establishing all this stuff in a show, don't tell kind of way. And they did show. But it wasn't enough because they had to outright tell later on to make the audience understand. And every time I was like, wait, what? Oh, another example I just thought of. When Courtney shows up at Desi's apartment and is like, you can't treat Los Angeles like your own personal buffet. There's fucking rules. Well, maybe let her know that.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck, Courtney?
This is on you, bitch.
Yeah. And also, don't give her the rules right before you're going to attack her. Maybe don't tell her how to kill you. That was, that's just thought I didn't like that.
Yeah.
They could have done a better job overall with the Courtney-Ronnie subplot. It's the most glaring, could have been improved part to me, because they weren't very clear on it from my point of view. Some other stuff. Someone needs to tell Norm from Cheers that if someone is biting off your forearm, you know, fucking act like someone is biting off your forearm.
You definitely just touched upon one of my major ones.
Oh my God. I was pissed. Like, he didn't even try.
Yeah, I was like, Norm, what are you doing?
He didn't even try.
Yeah.
Like, this is easily the worst case of not emoting pain properly this month. It puts people in the Banana Splits movie or the Night Sitter or the Perfection to shame. Just horrible.
The dude that had his fingers bit off was reacting
Oh,
appropriately.
yeah, he did great. Yeah. And then the other guy who got his throat bitten off, okay, not bad. Norm literally just stood there like, if he even made noises. I don't recall. He just stood there while he had his arm bit off. It was fucking horrible. I think we need to do like a top 10 people who sold their pain like dog shit countdown for the month. It's been happening a lot.
Yeah.
Other than that, I thought the record executive guy was a little too hammy. Dial it back a bit, buddy. And I didn't think the triple shot explosion at the end was necessary. It was probably the only main shot I was like, nah. I think it was a little overkill, so to speak. Again, and that's it. That's all I had a problem with. What about you?
As I said, one of my majors was Norm, and that was the one actor that I was referring to earlier.
I thought so, yeah.
The other thing was a little bit of the pacing at the beginning. You know, I kind of get what they were going for, but their going for it was also leading me to being slightly bored.
Yep.
And then even, like how you were saying, you could omit some stuff. Like, to me, some of the going around the Hollywood bars and introducing different characters that we will never see again, just to show them once. I'm like, you know, any one of those three could have just been left out entirely and it wouldn't have changed anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my majors.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it on what I didn't like.
Well, all things considered, would you recommend it?
Yes, and in fact, I was kind of... I was already recommending it to some people at work today. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, I saw a movie last night where someone did so much cocaine they became a vampire and then burst.
You told them the whole movie. God, you're like walking spoilers.
But, yeah. Drugs are bad.
Yeah.
Would you recommend?
No, but not because I don't want to. I can't think of anyone I know that could handle this.
Yeah.
This is sex, drugs, and rock and roll, the movie. In the most disgusting, over-the-top way. I think people I know will either be turned off by its content or just find it self-indulgent, which I think it is entirely on purpose due to how it was shot and edited. But to anyone listening that someone got to the end without hearing all the spoilers, if you don't mind a movie that is gratuitous in drug use and gore, if you don't mind a movie that goes from a long 0 to 100 and never lets off the gas, if you don't mind a movie that is metal as fuck, check it out. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that about covers it.
Cool. This was one I was really looking forward to talking to you about. Okay, it ended and I was like, what the fuck? All right. Well, that wraps up this episode. Thank you for listening. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your friends or cool people who might dig the Vizcast. Please subscribe to the channel, including hitting that notification bell to stay up to date on the newest content. And there is a link in the description below for the Patreon that covers all of the creative endeavors, as well as access to bonus content. So please consider showing your support. And until next time, my name is Philip.
And I'm TJ.
And we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Bye.